Donald Trump has issued a formal statement as to the Chinese spy balloon that is flying over Montana. And that statement is, shoot down the balloon. Okay. Thank you, Donald Trump. I agree. I don't care if it's civilian, military, or otherwise. I am confused as to why they have not taken action in removing this balloon. Now, here's the best part. We got a bunch more updates as to what this may be. We got a senator from Montana saying he thinks they're trying to track our ICBM capabilities, which is alarming. But don't worry. China assures us it is just a civilian scientific balloon of some sort. And it got blown off course. It's funny. Just one big accident that a civilian balloon was tracking weather patterns or something like that. And it got blown off course, and they regret the situation. And it's just a coincidence. This is happening when China is mobilizing warships and jets, staging incursions into Taiwanese air defense zones. And they've been doing that for a while, but ramping it up. And Taiwan is on high alert, mobilizing their fighter jets to defend against a potential Chinese incursion. Yeah, I'll tell you my fear. My fear is that China would make such a move only if they're preparing for an actual militaristic move. And the analogy, or I suppose my argument is such. You get a criminal robbing a liquor store. You know, it's illegal to have the gun in these cities. I mean, it's stupid, mind you. I believe in the Second Amendment. But the law says, no, you can't have this. And they say, oh, okay, well, I'm planning on breaking the law anyway, so I don't care about that other law. China doesn't care if we get mad about this balloon because they're planning on engaging in a conflict with us anyway. That's the scary thought. Moves like this could be a sign they don't care what our response is because they know there will be a worse response if they actually try to invade and seize Taiwan. We have the statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. They say, question, according to media reports, a Chinese unmanned airship has been spotted in U.S. airspace. Do you have any comment? Oh, the media report said it was a Chinese unmanned airship. Pretty sure every single media report said spy balloon, but thank you, Communist China. The airship is from China. It is a civilian airship used for research, mainly meteorological. Affected by the westerlies and with limited self-steering capability, the airship deviated far from its planned course. The Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to force majeure. The Chinese side will continue communicating with the U.S. side and properly handle this unexpected situation caused by force majeure. Oh, I think it's, thank you for that. That's very, very important. And I believe you. I completely believe China. You've got this Taiwan invasion alert. Island scrambles fighter jets, puts Navy on standby and activates missile systems in response to 34 Chinese jets and 9 warships as NATO warns of a dangerous situation. So Taiwan's scrambling fighter jets, NATO's on high alert, and then a Chinese spy balloon flies over our nukes. Yeah. Whoa, power outage. Yeah, that's what we have in Montana. So, yeah, maybe we should shoot the balloon down. It's kind of funny because Joe Biden apparently said he wanted, well, the reports are Joe Biden wanted to shoot it down, but the Pentagon said, no, there could be debris. Jack Posobiec last night was like, I don't believe it. And I believe Jack Posobiec. There's no reason not to take this balloon down. It's Montana. What's it going to do? Fall on a cattle or something? If that's the worst case scenario. Probably nothing would happen. It would fall in a field. They have to recover it. Maybe piss off some guy who owns the land or something. But hey, better than letting them fly this near our ICBM missile sites and Air Force bases. So here we go. China urges America to stay cool-headed. Stay cool, man. As it looks into. Pentagon claims that one of its spy balloons has violated U.S. airspace over sensitive military sites in Montana. Canada probes second incident. You mean to tell me this keeps happening? Yeah, you're being spied on. Amazing. China has refused to deny it owns the spy balloon. Well, they said it was civilian now. U.S. officials are confident the balloon observed over the U.S. belongs to China, but the Chinese Foreign Ministry has urged against speculation while it investigates. Mount Ning, a spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, said until the facts are clear, making conjectures and hyping up the issue will not help to properly resolve it. China is a responsible country and always abides strictly by international law. We have no intention of violating the territory or airspace of any sovereign country. It's just, for some reason, I don't believe them. I wonder why that may be. Canadians are safe, and Canada is taking steps to ensure the security of its airspace, including the monitoring of a potential second incident. NORAD, the Canadian Armed Forces, the Department of National Defence, and other partners have been assessing the situation and working in close coordination. Canada's intelligence agencies are working with American partners and continue to take all necessary measures to safeguard Canada's sensitive information from foreign intelligence threats. We remain in frequent contact with our American allies as the situation develops. Apparently, it's not the first time, and there may be a second incident. So I will just say, I think it's on purpose. I think China is spying on us. I got this weird feeling. I don't know what it is. I got the weird feeling that China is just spying, huh? Come on. From Fox News, Montana Senator Daines, alarmed at Chinese spy balloon, says significant concern that ICBM fields targeted. I will stress this point again. Why would they send in a spy balloon? If China is preparing to invade Taiwan, they're going to want to monitor our Air Force response capabilities, particularly in Montana, which is one of the closer sites to China. Granted, it's on the other side of the planet, but you got to understand, I think actually from Montana, it might be faster to get to China going north. I could be wrong, as opposed to west, but probably relatively close proximity. And they want to know if we are going to be scrambling in response to what Taiwan is doing. We should never have tolerated this. If Donald Trump was president, you would have gotten some crazy story about a balloon exploding over Montana, and Trump would be like, well, they sent a balloon and we shut it down immediately, sent in the jets. Instead, what do we get? Joe Biden being like, come on, man, I don't think I can do it, Can't do it. All Pentagon sent debris. To be honest, if Trump was president, the balloon never would have come anywhere near the United States, no matter what. There'd be a bunch of warships outside of China if this happened. That's the one thing about Trump. Two things. One, we've talked about quite a bit, in that Donald Trump said to Xi Jinping and to Vladimir Putin, he said to Putin, if you invade Ukraine, I will nuke Moscow. And Putin's like, is he serious? Like, is he for real? And Trump apparently gave a statement where he was like, well, the other thing was he told Xi Jinping, if you take Taiwan, I will destroy Beijing. And he said, I don't know if they believed me, maybe only 5%, but that 5%'s enough. He's right. Man, Trump, I got to tell you, for all the bad things the media did in smearing Donald Trump, it kind of worked out in terms of foreign policy, because they hear all these things about Trump, and then Trump shows up and they're like, do not piss this guy off. He will blow up our city. And then he had John Bolton. Now, I despise this warmonger. And all these people who think the U.S. should be spending the money that, I don't know, could be used on healthcare, on foreign wars or whatever, but sure, fine, whatever. And Trump apparently said this, that when he brought John Bolton with him to these negotiations, the other countries would be like, yeah. Like, not only is Trump a madman, but John Bolton's like, oh, come on, Trump, let me blow up their country. And Trump's like, now hold on there, John, let's negotiate first. And then they're like, wait, please. Long story short, John Bolton scared the crap out of these foreign countries. Okay, I get it. And then Trump fired him, and Trump did not have him do these things. So, okay, maybe there was a benefit to having John Bolton, and that's a fair point. These countries see the warmonger, war pig show up, and they're like, okay, fine, you win. Please don't blow us up. Here's a story from Fox News. Montana's Republican Senator Steve Daines sent a letter to the Department of Defense demanding answers on the suspected Chinese spy balloon spotted above his state. Now, I got to wonder why Montana did not take action. I mean, certainly Montana as a state has some kind of defensive capabilities, right? Daines sent a late letter to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Thursday amid reports of the suspected surveillance balloon over U.S. airspace and Montana airspace. The Montana Republican called the high-altitude Chinese balloon a concerning event and told Austin that the fact that this balloon was occupying Montana airspace creates significant concern that Malmstrom Air Force Base, AFB, and the United States intercontinental ballistic missile fields are the targets of this intelligence gathering mission. Yep. Ground penetrating radar, stuff like that, LIDAR. What could they be using? And not just that. What if They've got a new technology we're not aware of. And they're using this to gather as much data as possible. And we just let them do it. It's done. It happened. No joke. They did it. It happened. As soon as that balloon comes within range, they got it. Shoot it down all you want. It transmitted the data out of there. That's the scary thing about this, is that maybe the reason Biden did nothing is he's like, well, they got us. They got everything. I remember I was talking to this journalist. He went to Syria, a big NBC guy. I'll leave his name out of it. And we were talking about him going to Syria. I asked him about, we're talking security, and I said, did you bring your cell phone? He goes, yeah. And I was like, you brought your personal cell phone? He's like, yeah, why? And I'm like, just consider that everything on that phone, and this was 10 years ago, is in the hands of the Assad government. As soon as you walked in, they probably cracked right into your phone, downloaded every single piece of data on it, and they own everything about you. Don't even bother. These are 0-day exploits, other crazy things. You do not know the capabilities. As soon as your phone entered the range of their communications grid, they took your data. They knew where you were. When I was in Venezuela, this is a crazy story. I ended up leaving, and I leave the country rather abruptly without saying much, and it was because people were accusing me of being a spy. Thanks, Occupy. It was Occupy Wall Street activists started spreading rumors that I was a CIA agent or something creepy, and I was just working for Vice. When I got back, I get a fake message on Facebook from a friend of mine I hadn't talked to in a few years. I thought it was real. It said, bro, the FBI just contacted me. You need to call me right now. And I was like, what? So I call him, doesn't answer. I call him, he doesn't answer. I call him, he doesn't answer. And I'm like, bro, I text him, answer your phone. I call him, he doesn't answer. A few hours later, he calls me and he's like, dude, what's up? And I was like, what's going on with the FBI? He told me to call you. And he's like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, bro, I have on Facebook, you said call you. And he goes, no, I didn't, bro. I haven't talked to you in years. So I screenshot it, sent it to him. He never messaged me. Facebook itself got hacked. This is crazy. And I was working at Vice at the time. I printed out the message and I put it on a wall as like a souvenir. What we think happened was hackers in Venezuela injected code into Facebook to get a message sent to me or hacked his account. And they wanted me to make a phone call so that if I was still in the country and my phone dialed out to an American number, they would be able to figure out where I was and more, figure out which phone was mine. I'm not so stupid, though. I didn't use my personal cell phone for this. I use burner phones and dummy phones and travel phones and things like that. But this is what I'm talking about. The fact that they broke into an American citizen's Facebook account in some strange effort. I don't know what was going on, but we assume it was Venezuela security. I had a pro security guy do an assessment. He was like, it looks like they injected this into Facebook. Think about what China already did with this spy balloon. The moment it goes within range and can send and receive a signal, they got the data. Quote, it is vital to establish the flight path of this balloon, any compromised U.S. national security assets, and all telecom or IT infrastructure on the ground within the U.S. that the spy balloon was utilizing. As you know, Montana plays a vital national security role by housing nuclear missile silos at Malmstrom Air Force Base, the senator continued. Given the increased hostility and destabilization around the globe aimed at the United States and our allies, I am alarmed by the fact that the spy balloon was able to infiltrate the airspace of our country and Montana, he added. Daines told Austin that there is no higher priority for your administration than the safety and security of the American people, and it is imperative that your administration reassure them of this fact at the time. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's after-hours request for comment. Fair point. It's late at night. Come on. A spokesperson for Senator John Tester, Democrat from Montana, told Fox News Digital that he is monitoring the situation closely and will continue to receive updates from the Department of Defense. On Tuesday, Tester, a third-generation farmer, and lead Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota introduced the Promoting Agriculture Safeguards and Security Act to prevent foreign adversaries like China from buying into the U.S. agricultural industry. Now, let's slow down there a minute. Maybe it's ICBM related. Maybe it's not. Maybe it really is agriculture. Maybe the goal is just a general surveillance on what the U.S. is doing. And a lot of people are coming out and they're saying they have spy satellites. What do they need a balloon for? Well, balloon's closer. You can get a better read. Spy satellites may be able to detect the visible spectrum. They may be able to zoom in using lenses and start tracking, surface level stuff. But a balloon substantially closer can pick up other signals, intercept a whole lot more. It should have been shot down, man. What is the suspected Chinese spy balloon doing above the U.S., says CNN. News the Pentagon is monitoring it, blah, blah, blah. They're checking the flight path. What's less clear is why Chinese spies would want to use a balloon rather than a satellite to gain information. Well, I just answered that question. That's the point. Maybe they've got a new technology that they're using that needs to be within a certain range to send or receive certain signals. Maybe satellite wouldn't do it. Don't look at me. I don't know, man. They say it is appearing to hang out for a longer period of time this time around and is more persistent than in previous instances it happened before. That would be one distinguishing factor. So China says, this thing has limited maneuverability controls. The U.S. says they're lingering it. They say using balloons as spy platforms goes back to the early days of the Cold War. But with the advent of modern satellite technology enabling the gathering of overflight intelligence data from space, the use of surveillance balloons has been going out of fashion. Recent advances in the miniaturization of electronics means the floating intelligence platforms may be making a comeback. Balloon payloads can now weigh less, and so the balloons can be smaller, cheaper, and easier to launch. That's the other important thing. Satellites are expensive to put in space. You need a rocket. Easier thing to do is just put a balloon up, let it go, and whoop, there it goes. Blake Herzinger, an expert in Indo-Pacific defense policy at the American Enterprise Institute, said despite their slow speeds, balloons aren't always easy to spot. They're very low signature and low to zero emission, so hard to pick up with traditional situational awareness or surveillance technology. And balloons can do some things satellites can't. Space-based systems are just as good, but they are more predictable in their orbital dynamics. An advantage of balloons is that they can be steered using onboard computers to take advantage of winds, and they can go up and down to a limited degree. This means they can loiter to a limited extent. A satellite can't loiter, and so many are needed to crisscross an area of interest to maintain surveillance. According to Leighton, the balloon may be collecting information on U.S. communication systems and radars. Yeah. Maybe what they're doing is trying to track our communications capability to determine whether our response time in the event they attack. Maybe they're not trying to track us because they're going to attack. They want to know what we can do if they attack. I think it has everything to do with Taiwan, to be completely honest. Like, I'm not going to pretend to have any private information or classified information, but considering we're hearing that Taiwan's on high alert and they're scrambling jets, and then this happens. But let's wrap it up some fun. Spy balloon witness thought it might have been a star or UFO. Well, I guess quite literally it is a UFO, an unidentified flying object, or a star. But I appreciate Reuters running this story that doesn't matter in the least bit to anyone. Perhaps it could have been a UFO. But this is a lot about what UFOs are. UFOs are probably foreign military technology, spy satellites, balloons, and other tech we're not aware of. What was I was talking the other day. What was I talking about? There are a lot of things in the civilian sector that we're all excited about. Jet suits. You see the videos of the guys with the jet suits and they fly up the mountain to rescue someone? I'm kind of just like, I don't know if all that's necessary, to be completely honest. Like, we really want to make an Iron Man suit where you can fly, but they've also got this hover bike company, which basically has got 2 big fans and then 4 small fans for stabilization. And it's like a motorcycle looking thing, and it's a hover bike. That probably, I suppose it would be hard to land, and the benefit of a human wearing the suit is that you can land almost anywhere and then deliver aid, but you can't get the person out. Anyway, look, we see all this fanciful, fantastic technology, and we're like, wow, government's probably had this stuff for 50 years. I saw these videos of, they used to have flying platforms you could stand on. It had a single fan, and it would go up and it would move forward and backward or whatever, but it didn't have enough fuel, couldn't fly long enough. And ultimately they were like, helicopters are just way better. They had jetpacks back in the day, but they could only fly for like 30 seconds. Now we've got jetpacks that can fly for like a half an hour. That's pretty good. And in the future, maybe electricity, right now I think we use jet fuel because the energy output per the weight is a really good ratio, meaning the fuel itself doesn't weigh that much, but can generate a ton of energy for flight. Maybe if we get into solid state battery technology, we can create much more massive energy density, in which case maybe you can fly better. But it seems like liquid fuels are still probably better for the time being. Anyway, my point is, we think about UFOs, we think about spy balloons. They've probably got stuff that would blow your mind. I don't know about anything like anti-gravity, but I bet they have, at the very least, drones. You know, we hear these stories where it was zipping and zigzagging and moving. I'm like, sounds like a drone to me. We see like a quadcopter. Have you ever seen one of those pro helicopters fly and zip around like crazy? Imagine if they had that on a bigger scale, and then you're on a boat and you see all these 3 lights and they're spinning and zooming around in crazy patterns. It's probably just military tech, man. That's simple. You know, I wish it was aliens because, well, I probably not, but like at least that would be exciting. No, it's probably just modern warfare. This could be it. A precursor to something more serious. But we'll find out when it happens, if it happens. So I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.